In the quiet town of Irving, Texas, a single night changed everything. A man respected by his community, loved by his employees, and known for his kindness, was found dead in his own motel. But what really happened that night? Was it a random act of violence? Or was someone watching him, waiting for the perfect moment? Welcome to Darkroom Diaries. Today we dive into the shocking murder of Chandra Mouli Nagamallaiah, a story that left an entire community in grief, fear, and disbelief. It was September 3rd, 2025. Chandra, the manager of America's Best Value in Irving, was finishing his usual late shift. Guests checked in and out, the neon sign of the motel flickered in the distance, and the calm silence of night settled in. But at around 11:45 p.m., everything changed. Police reports state that a stranger entered the property. Within moments, a confrontation broke out. No one heard screaming, no one expected gunfire. A single shot. Chandra collapsed on the floor of the motel lobby. The shooter fled the scene into the night, leaving behind a crime scene soaked in fear and unanswered questions. As soon as the gunshot echoed, chaos erupted. Motel guests dialed 911, their trembling voices breaking the silence of the night. Within minutes, paramedics rushed to the scene. Chandra was still breathing, but barely. Blood pooled on the floor as officers tried to keep the area secure. The paramedics lifted him onto a stretcher, every second becoming a battle between life and death. Leaders of the Indian community called it a tragedy that shook every immigrant household. For them, Chandra represented the struggles and successes of countless Indians who left their homeland to build a life in America. One mourner said through tears, "He left India to give his family a better future, and here, he lost his life for nothing." Sirens wailed through the streets of Irving as the ambulance sped toward the Parkland Memorial Hospital. Inside, doctors fought to stabilize him, performing emergency procedures, desperately trying to save his life. But despite all efforts, by dawn, the news spread like wildfire. Chandra Mouli Nagamallaiah had died. The motel manager, the friend, the father figure to so many, was gone. Police sealed off the motel within minutes of the shooting. Yellow tape stretched across the entrance, flashing red and blue lights filled the night, and detectives began their work. Inside, every corner was photographed. Bullet casings, fingerprints, security cameras, every clue mattered. Detectives knew this wasn't a random killing. The shooter moved quickly, almost as if he knew the place. The news struck like a lightning bolt. Chandra wasn't just a motel manager, he was a beloved member of the Indian community in Texas. People who knew him describe him as humble, hardworking, and a man who treated everyone with respect. Within hours, candlelight vigils were organized outside the motel. Families gathered, holding photos, flowers, and candles, whispering prayers in both English and Telugu. Some cried silently, others demanded justice with raised voices. For 2 days, silence followed. Rumors spread through the streets of Irving. Some whispered about robbery. Others believed it was personal. But no one had answers. On September 5th, just 2 days later, police made a shocking announcement. They had arrested Yordanis Cobos-Martinez, a 29-year-old man linked to the crime. Court documents revealed chilling details. Yordanis had ties to violent activity. His motive? Still unclear. Was it money? Revenge? Or something darker? The arrest shook the community again. For many, it was a relief that someone had been caught. But for others, it was just the beginning of more questions. When Yordanis was brought into court, he showed no emotion. Charged with capital murder, he stood silently as the judge read the charges. If convicted, he could face life in prison, or even the death penalty. Reporters filled the courtroom, cameras clicked, and the silence was heavy. The community waited for answers, but none came. Even with the arrest of Yordanis Cobos-Martinez, the mystery didn't end. Why would a 29-year-old man target a motel manager with no known enemies? Police never revealed a clear motive, and that silence created even more fear. Some believed it was a robbery gone wrong. Others whispered about personal grudges, and then came the darker theories, that Chandra's murder was not random, but a message, part of something much bigger. For the Indian community across Texas, the murder felt like a warning. If someone as kind and respected as Chandra could be targeted, who was safe? Parents kept their children closer, motel workers grew anxious on night shifts, and business owners began installing extra security cameras. At candlelight vigils, people spoke about the chilling fear that gripped them. One man said, "It could have been me. I run a motel just like Chandra did. Now, every night, I wonder who's watching." The case also highlighted something deeper: the vulnerability of immigrant families chasing the American dream. Chandra's death became a symbol of both sacrifice and fragility. For many, he was not just a victim. He was a reminder of how quickly life can change, from a hard-working night at a motel to a tragedy that shakes an entire community. The unanswered questions left shadows in Irving, and in those shadows, fear continued to grow. Chandra Mouli Nagamallaiah's story is more than a crime statistic. He was a husband, a father, a friend, and a leader in his community. His life represented hard work, sacrifice, and hope, the very values that so many immigrants carry with them. His death was not just a loss for his family, but for everyone who saw him as an example of resilience. As of now, the case against Yordanis Cobos-Martinez continues in court, but even with an arrest, the pain remains. No sentence can fill the empty chair at Chandra's family table, or the silence left in his community. The trial may decide the suspect's fate, but the questions, the why and how, still haunt everyone touched by this tragedy. Sometimes, the scariest stories aren't found in horror films. They unfold in real life, in ordinary places like motels, neighborhoods, and family homes. Chandra's murder reminds us how fragile life is, and how quickly everything can change in just a single night. Thank you for watching this episode of Darkroom Diaries. If this story moved you, don't let it fade away. Share it, discuss it, and keep Chandra's memory alive. And if you want more true crime stories told with honesty and depth, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join us as we uncover the shadows, one story at a time.